This week's race of the week is the UKC Senior Rotax Final. Everyone loves a scrap for the lead, and boy did this one have it. 11 karts in the lead group at one point, and the eventual winner was not the person you might expect. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's race of the week.
As we put foot to the floor and get racing for one last time of round one of the Ultimate Karting Championship towards turn number one. And it's the pole sitter that commands the race. However, second place there, Jack West picking his way through in a second place. Now up towards Christmas Corner. Who's going to be last on the brakes? The 192 looks to go defensive to the inside, just following Ewan Chairman through. Up in a second place. Nicely done indeed. Let's see what Keane Garrity can do as well in the background. We saw him make some absolute stonking moves in the opening moments of the Super Heat earlier on. Side by side going into Ashby for the first time between multiple drivers throughout the field. 13.5 minutes left to go in this race, and it's Charman that's able to lead. This time from Jack West in second place, who looks to go to the outside of the boot. That one's not quite going to work, but putting the race leader under some pressure. The 192 gunning then for that race lead through the chicane for the first time. Then comes the 27 of Joshua Turnbull. We'll see, of course, the entirety of the order as they cross the timing line for the first time. Turnbull, Lilly, Garrity up 2 places from 7th, up in the 5th already. Freddie Ingram then in 6th as well, equally making up 2 places. The ascent back towards Christmas Corner once more in the background. One driver having to go defensive, trying to thwart off, I think might well be Neo Clark, looking to go to the outside. There's contact, he gets sideways, picks up a little bit of dust as well, and loses a couple of places with it as well. Charman not really under too much pressure from Jack West yet is the key thing. We've got about 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers, I believe, even all the way down to Lewis Harvey maybe in contention for this front pack. Indeed we do, 7 carts, or 6 carts at the moment. Line astern, there's a look to the inside, nice little send to the boot. Just got to be committed, and moves like that, yes, they're audacious, but they're not impossible as long as you sort of send it, right? It's one of those things you've got to have with conviction. You can't do it half-heartedly. You can't be 50-50 and back out on it, because that's when you spin. When you're convicted and confident, that's then when you make the move. A little bit like this, the 192 late on the brakes into Christmas Corner. Ewan Charman sees it coming, but can't quite defend. Jack West into the lead of the race of the Senior Rotax SuperFinal. Defensive into Ashby. Once more, Keane Garrity trying to get involved. Tries to get the up and under in the 79 machine towards the infield section. Has he got the kart ahead as they approach the left-hander? Not quite. Has to tuck in behind once more onto the 27 of Joshua Turnbull, but trying to promote himself onto the podium. Now Jack West has got the job of trying to control the field at the front. He needs the likes of Turnbull and Garrity to get involved, to give him that breathing room to get away. He needs Charman to be under attack. The last thing he wants is a counter-attack knocking on his door. He has to go slightly defensive into turn 1 just to cover it off. Opens it back up though once more, and it's the run out of turn 2 that's important. The last thing you want here is a slide. The counter-attack could well be on. There's carnage in the background though, as they're nearly side by side for the lead. Charman can't quite find a gap on the inside. West was able to cover it off really nicely, and the switchback not quite there. Defensive once more into Ashby. There's a bit of a gap, but no beneficiary there as Chairman can't find a way through. Still plenty of time though, 11 minutes plus 1 lap still to go in this race. Little bit of a look there, maybe again that psychological pressure. If a driver thinks you're going to go for a move, they're going to give you space. And then if you don't go for the move, the space is there for you to take anyway. So trying to bait them into that mistake, force them into some errors, can actually be the easiest way to find a way through, rather than doing the hard work late on the brakes or switchbacks. Force them into an error. Apply that pressure as much as you can. 10 minutes, 46 seconds left on the clock. Through turn 1 and turn 2 once more. The ascent towards Christmas Corner. Defensive once more goes Jack West. The inside does not open up. This is defensive masterclass from the 192, who's keeping Ewan Charman at bay. Is there space towards Ashby? No, not quite. Charman goes with him because, again, he doesn't want the inside to be opened up for Turnbull. So everyone you'll find just follows to the inside as to not leave the inside open, because it's very easy. You commit to the outside, try and go the long way around, try and set up a switchback, but in doing so, leave the inside open. Jack West not leaving an inch of track space for anyone to find a way through. Looking over his shoulder, being very reactive with his defense. He knows he needs to go over there, but he's checking to see what Charman is going to do. Is he allowed to move back over and open the track up, or is he just going to stay on the inside? The number 4 gets a mechanical flag. That's Archie Buttle, unfortunately, down in 30th place, that will have to make his way into pit lane. Defensive once more. The 79 to King Garrity loader to go to the outside. Tries to go to the outside. Not quite going to work that time. Slides in a bit too hot. Loses a bit of time, but a good effort nonetheless from Garrity. 9 minutes 40 plus the lap left to go. Plenty of time still for moves to be made. But we've got 1, 2, 3. I mean, all the way back to, what is it, P10 within 2.2 seconds, P11, 2.7. So It's almost like watching Moto 3 or something in the sense that these cars are so nose to tail. That's the level of competition that we come to expect with the UKC. Drivers that are so optimized in their racing line. That's wide there. Most definitely not the racing line. I can tell you that for free from whoever that was running wide off the final corner, using way too much of the track. Are we going to see any moves? The 27 goes defensive but brings it back over. Cian Geraghty says thank you very much, gets himself onto the podium. It was a misjudgment there from Joshua Turnbull. Cian Geraghty is one driver you do not want to have an inkling of doubt with. He finds his way through, up in a third place. Now has to attack the top two because Ewan Charman unable to really start attacking for the lead, at least in the last couple of laps. 8 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock for the final race of the day, and I have to say I'm very much excited for the last couple of minutes because right now things are going to change, right? Jack West gets through on Charman. Charman might well be able to find a way through back on Jack West. It's not until you get to the final couple of minutes where the stakes really start to rise, because the only lap you need to lead is the last one. You can lead the entirety of the race. If you bottle that final lap, funnily enough, you don't win the race. And that is then going to be the boiling point. The pressure starts to rise up until that point, and then drivers start getting a bit desperate. That's what we're going to probably expect within the last couple of laps of this race, especially if it stays as tightly packed as it is here. Very densely packed field of Senior Rotax karts. Eight minutes left to go, dead on, plus the lap, of course. West, Charman, Geraghty, Turnbull, Ingram up into 5th place, making up a few places. Geraghty, of course, up 4, making some big moves, definitely using what little tyres he's got left in order to maximise his opportunities. Just looking at some big gainers, we've got 11 places made up, I think, from John Brown there. So from the back of the grid up towards the midfield. No changes for the top 3. No defensive needed, really. And that's what Jack West needs. He needs a couple of laps just to show his strength, because he's quick, but he's not been able to be quick because he's constantly having to be offline defending. Now he's sort of gapped Charman a little bit. We're starting to see that pace come into the limelight, and he is gapping him ever so slightly, giving himself a couple of laps of breathing room, and maybe sort of encouraging as such Cian Geraghty to go for a move. Because if Geraghty doesn't see Charman putting pressure on, he's going to go, well, you know what? I want to do it myself. I'm not going to wait around for you to catch up. I'm going to seize control. Mechanical flag for the 13 of Zaki Hussein. So again, they're going to have to find their way back into pit lane. A black flag for Archie Buttle as well. I think that could well be for not responding to the meatball. Cian Geraghty looks to go to the inside of Charman from pole position. Now down to 3rd place. Nicely done from Geraghty, who picks his way through. Up now in a 2nd place. Seizing control. Now he's got eyes on the win. Through into the infield. Jack West has got control. And that's the thing, he's been so consistent despite the pressure that he's been under. It's so easy as a driver to sort of, oh no, he's got an issue. He's got a problem. The 192, at least momentarily, had a problem. He pulled over. Cian Geraghty gets into the race lead. He's done 2 karts in 1 lap and through into P1 now. Ewan Charman inherits P2 because of that, back in a 2nd place, so no net loss or gain there from the 421, but could he have defended more harshly if it had known that the 192 would have had a problem? He pulls over to the right-hand side. Whatever problem it was has seemed to sort of amend itself now, but nonetheless, he's dropped 2 places, and that is heartbreak for a driver that had such clear control of this race. 6 minutes left to go. Geraghty now with the pace and the track position in order to run away with it. Into the boot, once more, Geraghty with a fast lap, 45.65 by the way. Again, at this stage of the weekend, with the temperature, the rubber, obviously the track evolution is helping, but you know, those tyres have been battered. They're skinny tyres, first of all, for karts, so the surface area is very small, it heats up quite quickly, and of course there's a lot of lateral load, a lot of sliding going on. The 27 though, Joshua Turnbull looks to go to the inside of the 192, gets himself back onto the podium. That was beautifully done. A send to the inside of Christmas corner. Again, we see a lot of them, but that was well done. The 192, now once leading, whatever issue could well still be plaguing him, at least to some degree, because he's trying to keep Jack Lilly and Finley Jones at bay in the 10 and the 23 respectively. But he's got 5 minutes to try and hang on to this lead. But the 41 of Charman not letting Geraghty get away. The look for the move still on. That flip-flop getting abused. A couple of people, though, touching them twice. Maybe the stewards are going to flag that one up. There's some track limits warnings. 4 minute 37 left on the clock, plus the lap. Black flag for Archie Buttle, who I don't think is still on. Oh, no. I don't think he's still on track. He's got a black flag nonetheless. He shouldn't be. The number 10, though, rising up on the 192. It goes from bad to worse. It's salt in the wound for Jack West, who's now had further contact, rising up at the front end of his car. The number 10 of Jack Lilly, who started towards the front end of this field. In fact, started on the front row of the field, starting in P2 alongside Ewan Charman. There's as well the move. Freddie Ingram on the inside in the 69 machine. Works his way through, I believe, on the inside. Up into 5th place once more, so that fight for 5th continues to rage on. 4 minutes left to go. Not long left at all in Sunday's action, in the weekend's action of the UKC round number 1. The 32 gets the meatball flag. Mikey Walker is the driver falling victim to that at the moment, running P14. Won't be for much longer. Good points there in P14. Of course, like I say, points go all the way down to 34th place. The max grid, of course, here at Whilton Mill. So just by being in the final, you're scoring points. But of course, the 45 for the win and the trophy is the one that these drivers are going to want, and at the moment is the one Cian Geraghty is going to get. He's doing himself a lot of favours in the championship. The gap not very large, though. Joshua Turnbull still in contention as well. He's been a bit of a dark horse this race. Not been too aggressive, been overtaken a couple of times. Cian Geraghty finding his way through, but he's played the long game. He's invested. Like I say, 14 minutes for a final. It's not an incredibly long amount of time, right? It is very much a sprint race, but it's a sprint race that you have to think long-term in. You don't want to fight too hard too soon. Burn out your tyres and allow that field spread to increase. Okay, but equally, you're sort of thinking, well, I also have to get these moves done. It is a sprint race. I haven't got a lot of time to get things done. So, like I said earlier with Kev, it's that conflict in your head. Do you go for the move? Do you not? Do you work with this guy? Do you stay behind? Always going on in your head, and that separates the good from the great. You can drive a lap completely quick and set pole position, but can you convert it with consistency and racecraft into the race, especially over a season? The 41 of Charman getting a little bit sideways, too much curb, I think, going through the final chicane. That put him on the back foot going on to the pit straight with 2 minutes and 18 seconds. It's been a bit of a stalemate at the front, but again, it's a short fuse. Only needs a spark for it to ignite, and it'll all kick off once again at the front of the Senior Rotax SuperFinal. In towards Ashby. No moves being made. The field begins to spread ever so slightly. There's the 51 of Lewis Goff, who we saw have technical problems in the superheat despite running towards the front. So nice to see that he's been able to recover nicely and up in the 7th place. Thanks, of course, to his results and stuff through the heats yesterday. We're still inside the top 30 despite that and got his ticket into the final. Side by side as well. Archie Buttle still on track despite the fact he's got a black flag. It's flagging up lap after lap after lap. Surely he's noticed it at some point. I mean, you've got the digi flag there, firmly sort of telling you what was going on. But sometimes you're not focusing on it too much. Archie Buttle at the moment, P21, the 04 machine. There's a look to the inside, the 27 on the inside of the 421. That's Turnbull on the inside of Charman. Gives Geraghty a bit of breathing space as well, with just 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Turnbull, well, turns the tables and back into 2nd place. Very nicely done. Up 3 places now net from where he started. Cian Geraghty is going to be a mighty, mighty hurdle to beat in this race. Through the boot. It's going to be 3 laps at the line. So if they're going to cross with 46 or more seconds left to go, yeah, next time by will be the penultimate lap. So still 3 laps to go here at Whilton Mill for the Senior Rotax SuperFinal. Cian Geraghty leads from Turnbull, Charman, Lilly and Jones, the top 5. Then comes Jack West, who was leading for the best part of this race. Whatever issue saw him pull over, sees him now 6th. Lewis Goff, Freddie Ingram, Angro Scrivener and William Pemble completes the top 10. What has been a very competitive Senior Rotax field all throughout this weekend. And look at the gap. Cian Geraghty, I mean, it's not quite the gap that we saw earlier on in the day across some of the classes with sort of 2, 3. I think it was Cian Geraghty that did win by about 3.9 seconds in the end in superheat. Because of the battling that went on behind him. It's not quite going to be the case in the final. He's being kept honest by a lot of drivers. Now on to the penultimate lap of the race. Just a lap and a half left of Whilton Mill. So left to negotiate to take home the trophy and the championship points. Archie Buttle still not responded to that black flag. I'm sure he's probably going to be getting a a stern talking to from the UKC officials post-race, because at what point can you sort of blame ignorance and say, oh, I didn't see it? Because at some point you've been seeing it the whole race. Anyway, one more lap left to go. Cian Geraghty will get the last lap flag board shown. One more tour of Whilton Mill to round off the day here for the first round of the Ultimate Karting Championship. Geraghty has driven beautifully, now defending the podium. Ewan Sharman, Jack Lilly and Finley Jones closing in on the battle. Mikey Walker as well with a black flag, I think, again, for not responding to the meatball flag that it initially was. Cian Geraghty leads the pack. Joshua Turnbull not quite close enough in second. All Geraghty has to do is keep it on the track. With the boot and the chicane left to go to see victory and start his championship campaign. There's a fight towards the boot, bit twitchy there from the number 10 of Jack Lilly as he pursues the podium. I don't think quite close enough to tip Ewan Sharman, but out of the final corner, there's 79. Cian Geraghty started 7th, victorious at Whilton Mill for the Senior Rotax SuperFinal with the fastest lap to go with it. What a race and what an end to the day here for round 1 of the Ultimate Karting Championship. And if it doesn't live up to its name after today's action, I don't know what is going to prove it. Joshua Turnbull, Ewan Sharman hangs on to the podium in the end.